Good morning, everyone. Today on Perspectives, you may know people who are optimists and they dream of a perfect world. Now, one of the most important parts would be equal justice for everyone. Now, no matter what community you live in, no matter your name or whose family that you belong to, no matter your race or gender, social justice would be yours as a citizen and a human being. Well, more than 4 decades ago, a local organization was created to form alliances and collaborations with faith-based organizations, religious congregations, and service organizations. One of their goals is to assist in creating systemic change, to alleviate poverty, and to build relationships that support social justice for all of our citizens. MAIC, Mobile Area Interfaith Conference's mission is to empower the marginalized and to build bridges in the community through advocacy, education, and service. Their vision, to foster a just community which recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of all persons, and through collaborating, offering hope and opportunity. MAIC has been instrumental in the founding of several programs over the years: Loaves and Fishes Soup Kitchen, Feeding the Gulf Coast, aka the Food Bank, and Housing First Incorporated. They also established a ministry in Mobile Metro Jail known as the Metro Chaplaincy Program. They created the Neighbor Center and opened the Academy for Job Opportunities. Well, joining us today to talk about a just world and what that looks like are Aisha Davis. She is the Executive Director of MAIC, the Mobile Area Interfaith Conference, and also here with us, Gwen Daugherty. Ms. Daugherty is the Executive Director Emeritus of MAIC. Well, after a quick break this morning, our guests will join us as we learn more about MAIC and how this organization, created 41 years ago, has been a catalyst for tackling unmet needs in the Mobile community. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Welcome back, and this morning we have the pleasure of speaking, as mentioned, with Ms. Davis and Ms. Daugherty, talking about the MAIC and all of the incredible work. I guess, ladies, the first thing when you talk about the mission and the vision of the organization, it's a tall order, but over the 41 some years, a lot of good things have happened due to what you all have done through that mission and the vision of making things happen in this area. When you look at the work that you're doing, how difficult has it been to continue and foster these collaborations with the different organizations that you've partnered with to make some incredible things happen?
If you want to, Ms. Daugherty, she could speak to it. I'm 40 days in.
Okay.
So if she could elaborate on that.
Well, one of the things is that the board that started Mobile Area Interfaith Conference was made up mostly of ministers. And so with that being said, you had individuals who had a faith base, and they wanted to make sure that all individuals in Mobile County receive fair and equal treatment. And one of the things that we did, as you stated earlier, in terms of Feeding the Gulf Coast, which was the food bank. We started that program, and then what MAIC does is like an incubator for new programs. And so it started that program, and it morphed to Feeding the Gulf Coast. Then it went from that area to homelessness. And homelessness was a big issue in Mobile about 20 years ago.
Well, before you get on that one, something else also was a catalyst for the feeding part. Something happened weather-wise.
Yes, in 1979, Hurricane Frederick hit Mobile. And because of the number of people that were affected, no food, no water, no ice, these ministers came together and said, let's provide a central location where we can feed individuals. And last year, we held our luncheon at the church that started the program.
Oh my
downtown, the Government Street Presbyterian Church.
Yes.
That started the program.
That is good to hear when you hear about, despite all the things that we hear in the news, we do know that things are working, people are working together, and you're talking about people from different religions, different denominations, different ethnic groups coming together to make a difference.
And right now, in terms of the groups that we work with, in terms of the Neighbor Center, the Academy, Metro Jail. That's why we're called Interfaith. We work with every faith, you know, in terms of this week, Ramadan is finishing. And we were just at a board meeting where they talked about the number of inmates that were participating in that. Orthodox Jews, I mean, every religion that you can think of, we
People
assist.
coming to the table. Now, Ms. Davis, you are now the new executive director, and although you said just 40 days in, I know that you have a DNA of seeing your mother do some incredible things in the community through the YWCA. What interested you in following Ms. Daugherty in this position and coming to this organization? What drew you in?
Well, I am just humbled to be a part of the MAIC family, and following behind Miss Daugherty those are some big shoes to follow, okay? However, I am so glad to be here to do the work. My vision going forward for MAIC, because we have such a rich background, okay? And the mission resonates just what I believe as a professional social worker for over 20 years, that we should be empowering those individuals that are marginalized. I believe in that we should be advocating, providing education and resources, okay? My vision going forward for MAIC is more of a 4-part vision. I plan for our organization to increase awareness, expand our impact, serve the whole individual, and ensure equity and equality. And in looking at all 4 of those parts, when we look at increasing awareness, we've done an awesome job within our region here. But a couple of years ago, I know that our chairman and the sheriff from the Mobile County Jail was here, and they talked about our Department of Justice grant and the things we were doing in the Mobile County Jail locally. But we want to see that happen even on the state level.
Yes.
We want to, you know, further that mission of what MAIC started 40 years ago. And we want to scale up, expand that impact, make sure that people understand that we are here in this community, and as long as that revolving door continues, we continue to be here doing the work.
Well, a lot of success over these 41 plus years. Let's talk about that program, because that's one of the things that you've got a celebration of the annual conference, I guess you could say banquet dinner coming up. We're going to talk about the luncheon. And so we're going to talk more about that. But making sure that people who have been incarcerated have something to build upon once they get out. And a lot of people who have either had family members or friends or just concerned about the plight of those who have spent time behind bars, because not everybody is in there for violent crimes. Some, they've made bad decisions and they've got into the legal system. So how important is that program to where you all are providing training and helping them find skills so they can be self-sufficient once they leave? Either lady.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, one of the things is that when people return to the area, most of them, the average number of our clients have been incarcerated for more than 10 years. And when you start going up, think about what the world was like when they went into prison. I mean, to come back with cell phones, computers, those things that they knew nothing of when they were incarcerated. So it's very important not to only provide services for them, but to make sure they understand that we're here to help and not to just feed. Individuals have to be willing to do some things for themselves. And one of the things we do is with our program, we have the pre-release, which starts at Metro Jail. Then individuals come out to post-release, which is the Neighbor Center. And we provide extensive case management, but a big part of the program is housing. Then in 2020, we started the Academy. And that program helps with job readiness, job training, those things that individuals can get certificate in to show that they are skilled laborers
And that's so important because you've got to have somewhere to get into a door, and have a skill like that is just critical these days. And as Ms. Doherty mentioned, the technology is moving so fast. If you're away from stuff for 2 or 3 years now, you'll miss something that is now. I always think about driving past Blockbuster and it's gone. You know, it's like, and that was a major player. And so when you see this in the vision for going ahead, how does that work into when we see increasing the number of opportunities?
Well, we're actually in the community making sure, like even for example with Bishop State, we were down at Bishop State just looking at, because that's where we'll be hosting our upcoming luncheon. And I was just so impressed with the facility and all of what it has to offer. And so we've already started partnering with players in the community such as Bishop State, so that those type of avenues will be accessible for our returning citizens. One of the big components I think that so oftentimes we miss, even though we have these things available, that is a major emotional step, you know. That's hard for an individual to come back into society and try to grasp this new way of living. And that's why I talked about in my vision about, you know, serving the whole person. We've already been dealing with providing them with life skills, but we want to incorporate the mental and emotional health, emotional literacy, you know, understanding how to be confident and not just go out there and compete in the industry, but to be able to compete for a lifetime.
Yes, that's so important.
So that's what we're trying to build in our program.
Well, you know, it's an exciting, I guess, all the options that you all have. It's exciting, and it's so full of hope and encouragement, because all of us could be in the shoes of somebody else, and so those things could happen to anybody, and it's important to have things in place. Now, we're going to take a break. You know, when we come back, we're going to hear from the keynote speaker at the luncheon coming up on, is that May 4th?
May 4th.
And of course being held at Bishop State's Advanced Manufacturing Technology Center. And it's inviting you, the public, to be a part of this, as we see the importance of MAIC in the community. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Congressman Benny Thompson about why what you all are doing is so important. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Congressman Thompson, thank you for joining us today. And you know, you'll be here in Mobile on May the 4th to celebrate an organization that's all about empowering and offering opportunities and hope for folks in the community. Is this one of the things that attracted you to want to lend your voice to what they're doing and their mission?
Well, there's no question about it. You know, I'm a United Methodist by religious training. And one of the things that we do is talk about second and third chances. And so when I saw the opportunity to speak to an organization that's working with second and third chance people, I felt honored that I was invited to come.
I noticed, looking at your platform and looking at some of the things that they have been doing for nearly 40-some years, talking about giving opportunities to those who've been incarcerated, as well as giving them an opportunity to learn skills so they can be self-sufficient. How important is that today when we look at the numbers of people that we incarcerate in this country?
Well, there's no question. As you know, our in the country, in the world, and something's wrong with that, given how technologically advanced we are supposed to be. But as those statistics indicate, those individuals who are incarcerated will have to come out, and we need to have a system to integrate them into society rather than stigmatize them so that they become another statistic. And so it's organizations like the one we're talking about here that's so important. And it's not being soft on crime, it's just understanding that every now and then, people who've made a mistake deserve an opportunity to still be the best that they can be. And so we have to put organizations and individuals in their life so that can happen. And I'm involved in a number of organizations here in Mississippi, as well as with the whole Homeland Security perspective, that as a nation, you and I can attest to the fact that we all have fallen short in our lifetime, but for some reason, somebody took an interest in us. And so anytime there's an organization that takes an interest in helping people become the best they can be, I want to be a part of it.
Topic this year is a just world, and as you know, Alabama and Mississippi are similar in many ways as relates to incarceration and giving another opportunity to people making that second chance. What message did you want to leave here when you come to Mobile for the folks in this part of the state?
Well, that, you know, there's still work to be done. That from an investment standpoint, the return is tremendous. As statistics will bear out, we spend far too many dollars on incarcerating people and too few dollars on rehabilitating people. And so for those individuals who are in the rehabilitation business, I want them to be encouraged. I want them to continue the progressive work on making the difference, and not just the lives of those individuals, but their families and society, because as a nation, and as an individual who does a lot of work all around the country, I know very few people who are pure as the driven snow. And it's in that spirit that I want to make sure that at every effort that I run into individuals who understand that we all strive for perfection. We're not born perfectionists. And so those individuals who might have faltered along the way, we can't throw them away. We need to create a path for them to become viable citizens in society. And believe it or not, my experience is the majority of those individuals tend to be breadwinners when we work with them, tend to be good family people, good church folk, and pillars of the community. And so why wouldn't we want to support organizations who are about reconstructing the lives of individuals who might have made a mistake along the way?
Final question, you talked about rehabilitating, the spending there versus the spending of incarcerating. Do you see ever a complete change in our thought process in this country where we are willing to invest a lot of money in other nations and other countries and in other causes, but not as much on our people here? And of course, you though are part of that type of movement, but unfortunately not enough of Representative Thompson there in Washington to make this happen. But do you ever see us finally turning that page to where we see the value of that?
Well, I hope so. And you know, to the bean counters of the world, if you look at the cost of what it costs to lock a person up versus the cost of education or rehabilitation, the numbers should speak for themselves. You know, in this country, a lot of the people who are locked up either because they are poor and or minority. Individuals who have means always get probation or get some other diversion program that does not allow them to taste incarceration. So in this country, everyone deserves an opportunity to a system that's just and equal. And so we're not there. And that's why programs to help rehabilitate individuals is so important, because we should not lock individuals up and throw away the key, or lock people up. And when they get out, leave them to a perpetual life of second or third class citizenship. That's not who we are as a country, and we should demonstrate that at every opportunity.
That's Congressman Benny Thompson, a familiar face for the January 6 hearings, and he will be here on May the 4th for your luncheon. And for those who want to participate in that, tickets are still available.
Yes, and they can contact us, MAIC, at 251-308-8725.
Okay, we'll show that number. There we go.
Or go on our website and purchase tickets, or our Facebook page.
And it looks like there's going to be a very good message left here, and
Yes.
I think a lot of high marks on the work that you all have done over the years, so I commend you on that as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We thank you for joining us today, Ms. Davis, Ms. Daugherty, and of course, keep up the faithful work that you're doing, making a difference in this community.
Thank you.
All right. Well, for more information, as mentioned, on MAIC, go to the website, the Neighbor Center at mobileareainterfaith.org, or the number that Ms. Daugherty mentioned there, 308-8725. And don't forget that annual celebration luncheon taking place on May the 4th here at Bishop State. We thank you for joining us today on Perspectives. I'm Eric Reynolds. You have a great week ahead.